All right, I'm going to try something different. Every week, I've been reading a bunch of books and then taking excerpts from those books and putting them in these newsletters that I send out. But this video is going to be an exclusive video just for the newsletter on a specific part of this book that I'm reading. So I'm reading The Donut King. It's a semi-autobiography. It's an autobiography or a story about the life written by Ted Noy. So Ted Noy is the Donut King, and I can launch into a whole thing about how awesome Ted Noy is. He is just a brilliant entrepreneur, and all of the mom and pop Cambodian run donut shops in Southern California really originate from Ted. But we can go into that later. The story that I want to talk to you about is a part of the book that showcases his obsession. Now, this is actually a love story obsession, but it shows just how deeply passionate he is about something, and how that passion, that obsession, will eventually translate over into his entrepreneurship and the way he runs his businesses. But I didn't want to copy and paste all of this, and so I'm just making a video, and I'm gonna put it in the newsletter so you can see what I see here. Unless you buy the book, which I recommend. You should buy the book. So he's in Cambodia at the time. He grew up very poor, didn't have a whole lot. He ends up getting his way into a school that's on the wealthier side. It was just kind of some crazy situations that worked out that he was able to be part of that school and be surrounded by a lot of wealth in the area. He falls in love with this girl, and at one point he sneaks over. So she's this wealthy girl. She has this compound. He sneaks over the fence and lives in her room for a month because he can't be without her. And so he's just like this high school, or no, I think he's a little older than that, like college age kid that's just living in the room of this girl. This is crazy already. He just loves her so much. But this part of the story is when her parents find out. So he's been living in the room. Her parents end up finding out, and they basically are flipping out, right? They're very elite. They're wealthy parents, and this is Cambodia in the 50s, and so he's worried that they're going to kill him, essentially. He gets his mother to come and beg for them to just not do anything to him, and to make sure that he stays unharmed. And she was persistent. Finally, they let up, and they're like, okay, we're not going to let anything happen to him, even though this is bringing great shame to our family. But the condition is that he has to renounce his love for their daughter and basically tell her that he doesn't want to be with her, he doesn't love her, and it's over. Okay, and so they set this up where he's supposed to meet her at a designated location, a neutral location. They're hiding in the background. He's there, and he's supposed to say this whole speech that they prepared for him. He gets there, and he starts talking to her, and he's telling her that he doesn't love her, he doesn't want to be with her, he's no good, so on and so forth. And so he says, I repeated the words that her parents told me to say exactly, and as they came out of my mouth, they tasted cold and metallic. When I looked up, I saw the pain of what I was saying beginning to break over her eyes. Seeing that pain was too much, right? So he's seen what he's saying, and he's like, I can't do it. I love this girl too much. So breaking all the rules and going against what her parents wanted him to say. And so this is basically him saying that they can kill me. I'm okay with it because I love her. So he says, he tells her, it's all a lie. I love you. So he proclaimed his love in defiance of her parents. And basically, he couldn't bear to, if he can't live with her, he didn't want to live. And so this gets even crazier. Ted hid a dagger in his clothes, hoping that it wouldn't come to this. But as he proclaimed his love and realized that, well, he's going to get killed by her parents anyway, he takes out the dagger and he stabs himself in the stomach, right? Okay, so again, this is not real life, but it is real life, because this guy is like the essence of passion and obsession. And so he falls to his knees. He's dying on the ground, and there her parents come out and are basically confronted with this like scene where they have to deal with it. And he goes black, and all he remembers is he's being taken to the hospital and taken care of. And he says here that is how I know that the final moments of life are not scary. Dying is peaceful, and having come so close that afternoon, I no longer fear it. So he didn't end up dying. He was in the hospital for a week or two. During that time, so again, we're getting even crazier here. During that time, she couldn't live without him, and she tries to kill herself a couple of times while he's in the hospital. He catches wind of that. He gets out of the hospital, and of course goes right back to the compound. So now this time they had put barbed wire over the wall, and he tries to get over the wall. He gets cut and ripped up. His incisions, that the stitches that he had in his stomach, they break, but he gets over the wall and he's able to see her and tell her how much he loves her, and she sees him and she's fine. Everything is fine, but like he's again risking his life because he just cannot stand his life without her, just like a Romeo and Juliet story. So finally, because of his persistence, right, his like consistent stubbornness almost, her parents relent. They're like, all right, fine, you guys can be together. We realize that this is how it's going to be, but on two conditions. One is that you don't have a public ceremony because that brings too much shame to the family, and then two, that you guys move away because we don't want you to be here with all the gossip. So running a parallel to this, so this is Ted Noy's story. This is his love story. He goes into a whole bunch about his entrepreneurship, but I'm highlighting this because it parallels like the obsession of an entrepreneur, and how obsessed and passionate you have to be about the business that you're starting, or the projects that you're on. People around you, your friends, your family, whoever, they are not necessarily going to approve of what you're doing, whether it's because they're jealous, or they don't understand, or they just think it's stupid, or you're not worthy enough, whatever it might be. It's going to happen. And what is going to drive you is that passion, that obsession that you have, just kind of letting go of what others are thinking, the perception, the issues that other people might have with the work that you're doing, and just keeping focus on the prize. Ted does this with the love of his life at that time. He also does this with the business that he's starting. You just have to have that fire inside you, and Ted had the fire, and this is just a great illustration of that. I wanted to share with you that story because I thought it was almost unreal what went down. Very, very much like a movie, and that parallels kind of the obsession that you have to have as an entrepreneur in order to follow through and to build something great. So I'm going to post this video in the newsletter, the exclusive newsletter, and you'll get another week of awesome stuff. I'm reading The Donut King, The Lean Startup, The Alter Ego Effect, Sam Walton's Made in America, and the Tao of Charlie Munger, and a handful of others, but those are the ones that I'll be highlighting this week. So I hope you enjoyed. Take care.